Now this is an assertion reason question. Assertion is a typical angiosperm embryo sac is 8 nucleates and 7 celled. Reason, there are 3 cells at the micropylar end, 3 cells at the chalazal end, and 1 cell at the center called central cell. We'll see whether it's correct. Suppose this is a typical angiosperm embryo sac. It's 8 nucleates and 7 cells. So there will be 3 cells here, 1, 2, 3. This is at the antipode. This is at the chalazal end. So there will be 1, 2, 3, each cell carrying 1 nucleus. Then at the micropylar end, also there are 3 cells, 2 synergids and 1 egg cell. That is also each having each 1 nuclei. Then there is one central cell. Central cell have got 2 nuclei. The 3 cells present at the chalazal end is called as antipodal cells. And the 3 cells at the micropylar end will be together called as egg apparatus. Now we'll count the number of cells. You say cells. At the chalazal end, we have got 1, 2, 3 antipodal cells. Then there is one central cell. Then there are 3 cells forming the egg apparatus at the micropylar end. So totally there will be 7 cells. Now about the nuclei. Nuclei, there is 1 nucleus each in the antipodal cells. So there are 3 nuclei. Then the central cell has got 2 polar nuclei here. These are polar nuclei, but 2 are there. So here there is 2 micropylar end in the egg apparatus. Each cell has got 1 nucleus. So there are 3 nuclei. When you calculate, you will get 8 nuclei. Which means that the reason given here, there are 3 cells at the micropylar end, 3 cells at the chalazal end, and 1 cell at the center called central cell. So it becomes true. Assertion is also true. So both the assertion and reason are true. And not only that, reason is the correct explanation for assertion. So which means it becomes option A. Which are the 2 floral rewards flowers provide to sustain animal visitors? This question carries 1 mark. Answer is nectar and pollen. Give an example to show that some floral species provides safe places to lay eggs. That also carries 1 mark. Answer is the relationship between the plant yucca and a moth. Yucca provides a place for the moth to lay eggs in its ovary, and yucca plant will get pollinated. When the moth comes to lay eggs, yucca plant will get pollinated. What do you mean by nectar robbers? Carries 1 mark. Many insects, they may consume the nectar without bringing about pollination, and so they are called as nectar robbers. Flowering plants have developed many devices to discourage self-pollination and to encourage cross-pollination. Why? List any 3 such outbreeding devices. In which of the following plants is autogamy prevented but not geitonogamy? This question carries 5 marks. So this part of the question we can answer now. In which of the following plants is autogamy prevented but not geitonogamy? Autogamy is prevented in maize, flowering plants have developed many devices to discourage self-pollination and to encourage cross-pollination. Why? Why is it so that flowering plants wants to encourage cross-pollination? The flowering plants wants to encourage cross-pollination, otherwise it will lead to inbreeding depression. The next part of the question, list any 3 such outbreeding devices. So 3 outbreeding devices. One is self-incompatibility. The second one is production of unisexual flowers. Unisexual flowers means one flower might have either pistil only or only stamens. Then they have to undergo cross-pollination. This is another outbreeding device. Stamens as well as a stigma, they will be placed on different parts, not nearby. They will be placed on different parts of the same flower, but they will be placed far from each other. So they will be placed far from each other in such a way that they won't come in contact with each other. Since continued self-pollination results in inbreeding depression, flowering plants have developed many devices to discourage self-pollination and to encourage cross-pollination. Which one of the following is not an outbreeding device? Option A, stigma becomes receptive before the pollen is released. That is an outbreeding device. Option B, production of bisexual flowers. Production of bisexual flowers is wrong because it should be production of unisexual flowers. Option C, pollen is released before the stigma becomes receptive. That is also an outbreeding device. Self-pollen is prevented from germinating on the stigma of the same flower. That is incompatibility. So here, this is also an outbreeding device. The answer will be production of bisexual flowers. Option B is the answer. Because the question is which is not an outbreeding device. So this will be the answer. It should not be bisexual. The answer should be unisexual. So it is not, if it is written bisexual means it is not an outbreeding device. Angiosperm anther is bilobed and dithecous. It means that each lobe of anther has 2 theca with 1 microsporangia in each. That is one option A. B option is each lobe of anther has 1 theca with 2 microsporangia. C option is each lobe of anther has 2 theca with 1 microsporangia. D option is each lobe of anther has 4 theca with 1 microsporangia. Let us try figuring it out how it looks like. Option A says each lobe. Now this is the anther. It is bilobed, so they have 2 lobes. Option B also will draw 2 lobes. Start with option A. Each lobe of anther has 2 theca. So there will be 2 thecas here. 1, 2. With 1 microsporangia in each. So here there will be 1 microsporangia, here there will be 1 microsporangia. So it will look like this. Option B says each lobe of anther has 1 theca with 2 microsporangia. That means there will be only 1 theca, but there will be 2 microsporangia in each theca. So there is 1 theca only and 2 microsporangia here. This is the B option. C option is each lobe of anther has 2 theca. Each lobe is having 2 theca with 1 microsporangia. So in which one microsporangia will be there? Only 1 microsporangia will be there. Only 1 will be the microsporangia. And last option D is each lobe of anther has 4 theca. So 1, 2, 3, 4 with 1 microsporangia and 1 microsporangia only is there. 1, 2, 3, 4 theca are there, but only 1 microsporangia is there. So the answer will be each lobe of anther has 2 theca and 1 microsporangia in each. So that will be the correct answer. Option A will be the correct answer. Each lobe of anther will have 2 theca. That is why it's called dithecous, with 1 microsporangia in each. So option A will be the answer. Name the homogeneous cells at the center of each microsporangium when the anther is young. So when the anther is young, now suppose this is a microsporangium. There are some homogeneous cells here when they are young. These homogeneous cells are called sporogenous tissue. Then as the anther develops, the cells of this tissue undergoes meiotic division to form microspore tetrads. So 1, 2, 3, 4. This has become a microspore tetrad. What would be the ploidy of the cells of the tetrad? Because each one is going to become a microspore. There will be 4 microspores. And each one will become a pollen grain. And this is a result of meiosis. So that is why we can say each of the microspore will be haploid. So that is the ploidy. Now this is an MCQ question. Dash represent the male gametophytes. Option A, microsporangium. Option B, megaspores. Option C, microspore mother cells. Option D, pollen grains. Pollen grains are the male gametophytes. So option D is the answer. Now this is a case study type of question. Carrying 4 marks. Pollen grains are generally spherical, measuring about 25 to 50 micrometers in diameter. It has a prominent 2-layered wall. The hard outer layer called the exine is made up of sporopollenin. Now the questions are option A. Question is pollen grain exine has prominent apertures where sporopollenin is absent. What are they called? So option A answer is those are called germ pores, because it is through this only pollen tube comes out. Now option B, pollen grains are well preserved as fossils. What characteristic of pollen grain makes it possible? Pollen grain's outer layer is called exine, and exine is made up of sporopollenin, and sporopollenin cannot be destroyed by any kinds of enzyme or acid or alkali. No agents can destroy it. So that makes it capable of being a fossil. C. What is the function of a germ pore? Pollen tube comes out through the germ pore only. So it helps in germination, pollen grain germination. The inner wall of the pollen grain is called as intine. So there are two walls for the pollen grain. Outer wall is called exine and the inner wall is called intine. Pollen grains of many species cause severe afflictions. Means some problems. List any one of them. Pollen grains of many species cause severe allergies. This is from NCERT textbook. Severe allergies and bronchial afflictions in some people, often leading to chronic respiratory disorders like asthma, bronchitis, etc. Asthma, bronchitis. Next question. It may be mentioned that a plant that came into India as a contaminant with imported wheat has become ubiquitous in occurrence and causes pollen allergy. Name that plant. Carrying 1 mark. So answer number 43, that plant is called as carrot grass. Now answer number 44. Pollen grains are rich in nutrients. Give 2 examples to illustrate the point. Yes, it is taken to increase the nutrients by athletes and also by race horses. Now answer number 45. It is possible to store pollen grains of a large number of species for years in liquid nitrogen at what temperature? Is it option A, minus 196 degrees Celsius, B, 37 degrees Celsius, C, minus 120 degrees Celsius, and D, 0 degrees Celsius? The answer is minus 196 degrees Celsius. And so that is the temperature. Now these are all MCQ questions. Inside the ovary is the ovarian cavity called dash. Is it pericarp or is it ovule or is it locule or placenta? So if this is the ovary, so inside that place is called as locule. So ovarian cavity is called locule. So the answer is option C, locule. Now, next question. When the pistils may be fused together, it's called as dash. Is it apocarpus, multicarpillary, monocarpillary, syncarpus? The answer is syncarpus, option D. The number of ovules in any ovary are many in which of the following? Is it wheat? Is it paddy, mango, papaya? The answer is papaya. In case of papaya, in the ovary itself, there will be many seeds. If there are many seeds, means there are many ovules. So the answer is option D, papaya. What is the role of filiform apparatus present at the micropylar part of synergids? That pertains to embryo sac. So if there is an egg cell and here there are 2 synergids, there is a structure over here on the synergids that's called as filiform apparatus. So what is the function of this filiform apparatus? So filiform apparatus guides the pollen tube towards the egg. So this is a pollen tube, and pollen tube is guided towards the egg. This is the egg. So it is guided by the filiform apparatus that are present on synergids. That's the answer. Next question is, write the difference between Coleorrhiza, coleoptile. Now this question carries 3 marks, 1 mark for each. So coleorrhiza means it's a protective covering over the radicle. And coleoptile means it is a protective covering over the plumule of a seedling. And next is difference between perisperm and pericarp. Perisperm means whatever remaining nucellus is there in a mature seed. Then it's called perisperm. Whereas pericarp means it is a fruit wall or the ovary wall. Outer wall is called as pericarp. Now what is the difference between true fruits and false fruits? True fruits are developed from ovary, whereas false fruits is then developed from thalamus. Now, for example, mango is a true fruit, whereas apple is a false fruit. Thank you, children, for watching this video. Please subscribe so that I can post more.